Okay guys, I got all this stuff here glued down. I got the lights glued, so I thought I'd show you guys a little bit airbrushing. And I can catch you guys up on the video that where I got to this point. Let me tell you guys. Basically what I did was took these branches, pressed them out a little bit. Took this brown, I don't know exactly what it's even called, it's a moss. Spread that out, glued it down, glued all my lights inside here, stretched them all out, wrapped them around, there to here, hooked up to the batteries. You can see them. I can do that to give you guys the effect of what's going to be. The batteries are low, I got to charge up, get another set of batteries. They're the only ones I got to make the connection so I could see what I was doing with them. But see that light's on the side, and then these like this. And now the whole point is just to go through and camouflage this just a little bit with a little bit of paint. Touch this up. I gotta start bringing some more color, some brightness out of here. As you see, I mean, I got the basic colors. This blue is the dark blue right here. I think I got enough air. There we go. See, what I do is just go through and I try not to hit where the bulbs are, and then I just hit some of that wire that comes for your lights. And what happens is by hitting it and painting it, it sort of blends it in a little bit with the thing like camouflage. I'm not getting no paint. Okay. So basically what I'm going to do now is hit this all in blue up here. The dark blue was starting to stand out. The other ones was that Bahami blue, which is the lighter blue. This is a darker blue, like this right here. So you guys can see. Yeah, this dark blue is really going to set off the dark spots, and then I'll hit it again with the yellow. And then I'll come back and we'll mount it to the, I'll show you guys how to, I'm going to do the rocks. Like I said, I'm trying not to make this thing a really long video for you guys. The first one was really long, and I'm trying to make this short. It's, it would have been up even sooner because I lost all that footage, so I'm going to have to re-show you guys. And then this stuff here, here's the green moss. These are our leaves. So them are going to be glued on here all the way around. Okay, so when you guys come back next time, I'll have this glued on here. This will be painted. This will be painted. This here will be glued on there. And then I take the same paint. I'll be doing that in between this. As I glue this on here and on the top with the hot glue gun. And that gives me my leaves. And then I also will hit this with some of my paints to blend it in with the rest of the stuff so it ain't just green. I want it green and the different colors that match this. And then I'm going to take some of that glitter, and I'm going to put glitter all over the top of that and let it stick to it with the paint. As I'm spraying it, I'll just sprinkle that on it and let it stick. And then later on, I tried hairspray, but it really, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Sometimes it just blows stuff all over. Sometimes it is nice and sticky enough that your glitter will stick. So use what you think. Try what you ever have around the house, there's probably many ways you guys can think of that I don't know. So this is just ways I've tried, but right now that works for me. That little bit of paint is wet and the glitter will usually stick to it, or how these are here, they're really porous, and I just go through and pick out like the bigger branch stuff out of it, try to clean it up as I put it on. You'll see there's little brown specks in there, but just to try to keep it nice and bright green, and that's just like Spanish moss. And like I said, that's just like over half used for my other ones. So that was a great big pack bag for $1. So yeah guys, let me get this together here real quick, and then we'll come back. We'll show you guys the board. I'll get the rocks done for you guys. I'll show you guys the rocks, how we do the rocks, and then we'll start putting everything completely together and get this video up for you guys so you guys can see it. Okay? Later. Okay guys, how we doing? I thought I'd bring you guys in and show you guys how I'm doing the rocks. Yeah, these here. You'll get some close-ups of these. I just had to whip them together real quick so that I can get this moving. I'm trying to get the video up for you guys so you guys can get it seen here. So we got the tree sitting here. It's not totally in place, but I built a rock formation up underneath it, like I said. This rock here is housing the controls for the lights. These here are just covering the two little indentations here where the hinges were. So now you got your styrofoam. You just take a piece of styrofoam, cut it in a funky little shape. You don't want it like all perfectly square. You want it whatever. Just break it, let it happen, and you'll get some really cool effects like this. I just took a chunk and broke 2 chunks off, stuck them together, glued them, put another piece on there, and you get this really neat. I mean, they happen on their own. And then you just take your foil. I mean, I'm using sticky foil again. The regular foil works as good. Just lightly crinkle it, just enough to give it some creases in it. You don't want it like the tree. This here is just going to add some more effects later. That's how you get these here out of it. And then you're just going to take your foil and wrap it all around. Basically what this is doing is giving you something to stick to, and some contour, and your little bit of shape. Because if you just put the tissue paper over this, you wouldn't get the really neat. You can see by folding that and pushing it down, and you'll see with the foil when you do it. Like there. Now see I got indentations, I got little creases, little cracks, crevices. It happened all on its own. I didn't even have to do anything about that. So that's the cool part. Like I said, with the foil does amazing things for you. All you would do is wrap this, since I got the sticky on here, I would just wrap this, put a couple little dabs of hot glue, wrap your foil around it, and then if you got any edges that are sticking up, just take your hot glue and go around and stick it to that edge, and make sure it sticks down pretty decent. I mean, it don't have to be perfect, because you're going to paper mache right over it. So the whole thing right now is just to getting you your shape, and that's all this is doing, is giving you the shape of your rock. I wanted to I didn't do this one, so I thought, well, I'll wait for you guys so I can show you guys this. And a quick thing about the plants here, how I'm doing the plants. And then the next part will be where I'm starting to put together the base, the roots, and she'll be finished up and you guys will get to see it. Okay, let me get this piece of foil paper. This stuff is a pain, let me tell you guys. Use foil. Just comes right out the roll and it's really easy. I just don't have none available right now, and I got this, so I'm using it. It's just frustrating sometimes because it's such a pain to get this paper off. And I got nails, but that don't help with this. There we go. And I'm just going to do the base down here. I got some down here I got to cover. And once she's covered in foil, then you're just going to paper mache it with your toilet paper, paper towels, whatever you're going to use. The point about doing this is with getting them crinkles and all that little stuff that happens in here, you can't duplicate that. I've tried many ways, let me tell you. But there, now you guys can see it's just a little rock there, or a little piece of styrofoam with some foil over it. I mean, it don't have to be perfect all the way around. All you're looking for is some kind of, where you're going to see it. You want it to be visible, so when you put that over it, this effect is what's going to show up under your, okay, I got some toilet paper. I'll show you guys real quick. Let me grab a brush. Grab some gluey glue. Just a bunch of glue and water. Go ahead and get your surface a little damp there. It don't matter because your foil is going to be slippery at first. So the best thing to do is just start tapping it on there. Get it on where you want it. And then let the water just drip. Get a lot of water and stuff and glue on your brush. Because it's going to have a tendency to want to like slide around on that foil at first. So the first thing is to do, just knock everything over. Is just soak it. Let the water just drip out of your brush and it'll bring it right down and it'll stick, because you're going to have a little bit of a pain at first on the foil. The foil, it has a tendency to not stick at first. It's so slippery. Now if you know a better way that you can do that, hey, have at it. This is just the way I do it, because I found it does work. It's just, you got to be gentle at first. And just let the water do its thing. It makes it tacky. Once it becomes tacky enough, don't dab it too much. Try to just touch it and let it be. Because what will happen, see right there, the foil is starting to tear, or the toilet paper is tearing a little bit. So that's why you want the water just to do its thing. You're going to put another coat over it, so it don't matter. Like I said, the whole thing right now is just getting it wet So that'll stick to it. Once that sticks to it, then you're just going to put a couple layers. I usually put 2 layers on. That's usually sufficient enough. And basically the only reason you have to paper mache this is so your paint will stick. Because otherwise the paint has a tendency not to stick. The acrylics don't. I'm sure if you wanted to use enamel or oil-based paints, they will work. So you see all I did was go through, touch that, let the water run in there. And like I said, it's going to cause where the tissue paper or whatever it sticks to it, you get little dents from that also. So that's what makes it even better as you go out and do it, because those effects happen. Like I said, just touching it and letting the tissue do its thing. It wants to move like crazy, but like I said, once you get it on there, it's gonna stay. And it don't matter if you fold it, if you crease it, what you do, because what's gonna happen is, like I said before, when this stuff gets wet, if anybody's done it, you know it dissolves. That's why you want to use a really thin paper on this when you do it, like tissue paper or something to that effect. You don't want to really use something coarse. If you're going to use something coarse, you're going to have to soak it, like the brown paper bags when we use them. You have to wet them pretty darn good, so that they'll start to break down that little bit. And that's what this does. It's just the water, and I'm using toilet paper here. Just a couple of squares of toilet paper. And what happens is when that water hits it, it just turns to mush. So when it does that, it basically hides a lot of your lines and things like that. And that's it, guys, that's it. And you're going to cover this enough, let it dry really good. Then all I did was take some black paint, painted the whole things in black. Then I took some gray. You could use brown, you can use white. White and brown is really nice. If you're going to do the brown rocks, do it in white first. Let it dry, then take your brown and dry brush the whole thing. Try all different colors. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, remember, this is Fantasyland, so it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're going for realistic, then you can use the black and gray and a little bit of white, brown, gray, and white. Test it on a rock. Make one and, make different colors on it and see what you can do. You'll be amazed at what pops out of it. I mean, honestly. So let me get this rock done. Oh, I want to show you guys about the plants. That's what I did. Now these are all just little plants that I found around the house from old plants that my wife had, or we had from the garage sales and things like that. So I went through and just picked out the ones I liked, and I use them. Now these here they were green, as you can see right there. The bottoms I don't mess with because you ain't really gonna see them. Now what I do, you can see the little, I don't know if you guys can see them. I'm hoping you can. But there's the little lines from the leaves that are showing through because of the paint. I just took a real thin layer of white and I put it on there. And the reason I did that is because I'm going to paint them a different color. So if you're going to go over, if you want to paint plastic flowers or plants, or I don't know what you call them, fake plants. And you want to take a fake plant and you want to do something with it. Now this is going to change. I'm going to change this to purple and blues and some yellow. So what I'm going to do is I want to paint it white first. White is going to make them colors stand out. Otherwise, they will not stand out. If you put the paint on here and it's like, wow, I don't hardly even see it, go a little bit more whiter. Just keep putting layers of white on here until you get it to a nice bright white. Put it on very thin though. Don't put it on thick. Put it on very thin at a time. Let each layer dry. Then put another layer on. If you put too many layers on at one time, it's just going to keep wiping off because it's plastic. Now you can take something in, like a flat paint, chalk paint, and touch them up with some chalk paint first. I didn't have any in here in the house, but chalk paint's another good thing. If you have some chalk paint laying around, chalk paint them with whatever color you got, and then paint them over. That'll give you a good base for it to stick to. Thing with these, this was just a little, they were these things here, as you can see, and all I did was dab them with a little blue paint, put some sparkles on them, and they went from them ugly little yellow things that were old, and the yellow was like something that was glued to it or sprayed on these little plastic things. So I just changed it to make them look real and give them some color. I just painted them a light blue, took a little blue, touched them up. There's no white on that, just blue, and then I just dabbed them in the sparkles So I don't know if you guys can see them, the sparkles on there. Those we're going to use. Same thing with the purple now. That's the first coat of purple. I may add some more to it. Now, the thing about airbrushing is you can do this with airbrushing or you can do it with paintbrush. I did these with paintbrush. The reason being, the airbrush, if you're going to do it, you're going to want to set them all up the ones you want together because it's a big pain to get your brush out, your canisters. Unless you have a quick change one, then it'll make it a lot quicker because then you can change your colors. Same with these. These were white. I just dabbed them with some color. We got some purple, some blue, a different kind of blue. Now these are just going to be all the flowers that I'm going to put in here to brighten it up, to add some accent. We got a fake yellow one. We're going to try to use that flower top. Let me show you these. These are the leaves. They're going to be on my vines here to cover up some of my lights. And I painted them white also because they're going to be a blue and a purple to match the tree. Yeah, I just want to show you guys. So you guys were wondering when I start putting these in and you see them, how I did them. So yeah, if you have any more questions or if you guys have any questions about this that I didn't show, leave in the comments and I'll be more than glad to answer them, or I will do a video on it, or anything you want. If there's something you need to know or would like to know, that's what I'm going to do. This year, like I said, these are all just plants from old house plants that we had, the fake ones that were the ones we found or whatever I came across them, put it that way. And these here, what's cool is, use your imagination, guys. You can make some amazing things. I mean, this here, what I do is I take these, and a lot of times I'll take them and peel them off the back. That's just a piece of silk or set of whatever it is, material, glued to these little branches right there like that. So now I have a branch and a leaf. So now I can take these leaves, and a lot of times I'll take them and peel them off here, and you can see they got the design already on them. So now I can slice that in rows, and I'll have a bunch of long leaves that are very thin. So I can make different shapes, like this plant over here. I can make this same kind of plant out of these by slicing them in those strips, glue them together on the base, and then I can have them arch, which I'm going to have over here. I just want to show you guys. That's what I'm going to do with this. And let me show you guys here. It's going to be like that. I'm going to take that. Now it is pointed at the top, so what I usually do is I usually go through and cut it right down the center first. Now I'll have one square side, one square piece, so those will be my center ones. And then I'll just start following them arches that are, or the lines that are in the leaf. And I'll cut that white leaf out, cut that leaf out. And basically just cut the shapes that are in there already out. And then I can glue them all together in the center and make basically a plant like this. You'll see it. But that's how I did it. And then like I said, you got the stems here. You can paint these brown, you can paint them black. You can do whatever you want if you just want some sticks standing up like that. Just for something to show. Yeah, your imagination, guys. I found these are amazing. I never would have thought I would have been using something like that. But, I mean, just pluck one off a old plant and you can get these things at garage sales. You can find them by the garbage. People are always throwing these kind of things away. You can get them at yard sales, garage sales for pennies. I mean, people are just throwing them away. And if you see something that's unique, pull it apart, take it, save it. Another real quick thing here, guys. These are the plant things from an old plant. I remember I came across them earlier, and I was going to mention to you guys for the trees. This is for Cynthia, I think it is. I'm trying to remember. I hope it's you, Cynthia. You were saying about plants, building stuff for your holidays and stuff. This is just a plant thing that was from an old plant, and I pulled all the stuff off of them. Now you got a wired tree there that you can do same thing as this, and you got the basis right here already for you, and it's really sturdy. And it's strong. Now you can contour this into different shapes, just for some ideas. And then paper mache, you'd wrap some foil or whatever around these. You can shape these into something really neat, like so. And then you can just take your other wire, and like I showed you, wrap your wire around the leaves here, around the branches, and fill yourself in with some tree limbs. Take that outside, spray it black, or you can keep it green. But if you did it, you know, in the paper mache, you could turn that literally into anything you wanted. A cherry tree, an apple tree, Christmas tree. I mean, you could make a pine tree out of that if you wanted to, just by bringing it straight up together. Run them like that into a point, keep your round bushiness, fill them in, and all you do is run your branches off it. I'll do some pine trees later for you guys, but yeah, just some ideas. I'm going to be doing some more different kinds of trees to show you guys what kind I have. So, for now, let me get that done. So this video ain't 45 minutes. So for now, later. Okay guys, this is the end. There she is. I mean, a butterfly, our top. This is just from above. There's our plants, our rocks, our roots. Focus. Our mushroom. Bring you guys down here. There's a little piano and a rock I built. Bring some later on so you guys can see it. And the flower. All these I took pictures of and put up individually so you guys can see them all. What each one was. So there you go guys, there's your fairy tree. On the outside I just took and painted it blue. And then took some gold and lightly went over it just to give it that little bit of effect. I might put some what you call it on it, sparkles, whatever, glitter. So yeah, let me see if I can light it up here. There we go. Let me kill a little light here. Get the effect. She's really neat. Yeah, it came out really cool. I mean, the lights, you can see them through certain spots in certain places. There we go. And I can put them on twinkle so they twinkle a little bit. And the batteries could be a little bit stronger to get a little more glare out of them. So we could see more. But yeah, that's it guys. There's your fairy garden or fairy tree. Like I said, if you got any questions or anything that you didn't get to see me do right or fully, let me know and I will answer any questions or work on anything you guys want made. If you guys have any ideas or anything that you wanted to see me redo that you didn't get to see me do in detail enough. But there you go guys, there's fairy tree of life. Hope you guys like it. Hope you appreciate them. A lot of work, I'll tell you. That was almost a complete week of just working on that. Putting it all together. It takes about 2 weeks total. And in between, I mean, there's a lot of little detail stuff. You got to paint each thing, and I mean, painting all them, the flowers and everything. I mean, I wish you guys could see it close up. Camera don't do it justice, I can tell you that. But yeah, Mr. Frog living under the tree, living life. Got some mushrooms there, little flowers, those are blue. Like I said, a lot of this stuff you can't see in detail. It's like really crappy outside. I mean, we got like, yeah, it's been raining for over 24 hours. Maybe I'll put a picture up at the end of this of it. So it's been a great day to work on this kind of stuff here and get this done. I got some paint pours coming up after this too that I did in between all that, so, and I'm working on my truck. I was gonna go out and do that today, but it's pouring down rain. So there's your fairy tree of life. And like I said, there'll be more coming guys. I got more stuff gonna put together and design, airbrushing, we got it all coming up. So be patient. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I inspire someone to go out and make something and have some fun. I mean, that basically cost me absolutely nothing but my time. So there you go. There's a fairy tree of life. Later. Peace.